Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, May 31st, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. After Friday's market, a big time push back through the 4100 level, back above multiple week highs, and that's a key level right there. Obviously, we still have the downtrend that's remained in effect here since the end of March, but getting back above 4100 is very important. We have the last trading day of the month here today, and heading into next month we have these pivots here, which are the previous month's high, low, and midpoint, in addition to the pivot range here. And as of right now, obviously we still have the entire day to build out today's session here, but this could be a lower value with a change of bias type of setup here heading into the new month, which could be bullish. The early pullback, if it can withstand that early pullback, could provide a higher low opportunity that could take us back up toward 4,300, and we may see some action between 40.50 and 4,300. Again, this downtrend remains intact, and this market will have to prove it to the upside, but this has been a very solid, impressive move to the upside. The last 2 days tremendously bullish, but can this market hold on? Today it's been a fade after trend day, rejecting prices above the last week's highs and working back toward Friday's midpoint, and we could even be looking at a return back toward last week's mid as well. Last week's midpoint is 40.19. 40.19 would take us back to the about right here, this deep right there. Again, anytime you reject prices above the previous week's high, there is a tendency to work back toward the previous week's midpoint. So again, can bulls withstand the early pullback this week and defend that pullback? If so, there could be a little bit of strength that happens throughout the course of the month and heading into the new month of trading. But again, this is a prove it state here. We've seen a tremendous recovery here of the 4100 level. Can prices stay above that zone, or can we see a bullish trap below and go? As of right now, again, this market continues to reel, but this is one of the most bullish rallies we've seen since the early March rally, and we could see a bit more up to 4,300 again if the early pullback toward 4,000 can be defended. If we take a look here at the NQ, very similar price action here for the NQ as well. Not quite as bullish. Again, as we've continued to mention, on the upswings, the ES and the YM continue to be more bullish than the NQ and the Russell 2000. On the downswings, the Russell 2000 and the NQ continue to be more bearish than their counterparts. Right now, again, very clear downtrend that we've seen. This thing recovering the 12.5, 12.6 zone. And if you look down here, again, this is the previous year's low, and we saw a lower low failure here and a strong push back above that zone. So can the market hold on a pullback into the 12.2 zone? That's going to be very important. Right now, the previous week's midpoint here is 12.147, rather 12.142s. So we could be looking at a dip into the 12.150 zone right in this area, and that would challenge the previous year's low. And again, can we form a higher low in that zone? If so, we may see a bit of a move, a bit of strength here back toward the 13,555s. That's the top end of last month's range, or this current month's range rather. And we could see a little bit of trading action in here. But again, still a long way to go, and we got to see if this early pullback can be withstood. Again, for today, we're seeing a fade after trend day back toward the previous session's midpoint. Typically speaking, when you get that early pullback here for the month, you want to see bulls defend the previous week's midpoint or that pivot range for a shot at pushing this thing higher. We'll see if that can play out. In terms of crude oil here, crude oil is up 3.7%, trading 119 now. We mentioned before that we could be looking at a push through the upper end of the range for once, given the rounded behavior we've seen on the right side of this edge here. Market continues to be very, very strong, and as we mentioned before, this is not really a market to be fading into strength here as it continues to remain quite bullish. The fact that we're seeing this kind of strength here through the 115, 116 zone opens up the next zone above as high as 130 now. So all of this right here could be in play if today's strength maintains. So again, very strong unidirectional trending day. Pullbacks to be defended, not faded, unless there is some significant sign of rejection. So very, very bullish here today, and we could see much more strength out of crude. Bitcoin up 9.5% right now. This is a tremendous move. Tremendous move, very reminiscent of how price played out last year, where it was on the ropes here, and then out of nowhere here, positive headline risk, and we get this big push to the upside. It eventually triggered more strength. Now, not saying we get that magnitude of strength right now, but this was on the ropes here. It was on critical support, lower highs going into the zone, and it was basically sitting right on the edge of the cliff with a major drop coming. And instead of breaking to the downside, we're seeing this thing push to the upside in tremendous fashion. Again, up 9.5%. And while perhaps not quite a breakout just yet to the upside, this is a tremendous move that if it can hang on by the end of the day here, again, that could trigger some early strength next month. That could take us back toward 36K, maybe even 38K, which is the bottom end of recent support. So this is tremendous. We'll see if it can hang on here. Additionally, Ether futures here up 12+% right now, getting a similar move. Again, this one had broken to the downside here, retested the 1700 level, the tremendous 1700 level that is held for over a year now, year and a half. That level has been in play, and again, this one was on the ropes as well, on the ropes with a potential move of 800 to 1,000 points, and instead of breaking through the 1700 level, we're seeing this thing open with a strong move up. We're getting ourselves MGR buy signals, and that could lead to additional strength to the upside, even if it's short term. Again, I'm not ready to say that this is an upside break, but it is a tremendous move right now that could push this thing back up towards, say, 2200, and above 2200 starts to open things up back toward 2600 and perhaps even beyond. So this is a good first step. Got to see if they can hang on here by the end of the day. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the new week of trading. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.